Good morning.
Always forget to take myself off.
Is that 712 number, Reese? Maybe, maybe not.
Haven't seen him yet, so possibly.
I know he had issues with his phone last time, or his computer last time, and he could be down here this morning too, since they're working. So
Yep, which is good.
that's right. Yes, feels like it's been a little while. So
nice to see some sun, that's for sure. Maybe we should, looks like who we have on the today is Charles, Erica. I'm not sure who Gorder is. Kathy Magruder, Mimi Kelly Meyer, Paula Keeter, and then someone on 712. If you would maybe let us know who you are. You might have to take yourself off mute. Tina Gorder, thank you.
Sorry, I don't know how to change to put my first name.
It's okay. I appreciate it.
all right, I think we just go ahead and get started. Just kind of give everybody a quick update on where we are at with everything so far this week. I know last week we had mentioned the CenturyLink issue that we are dealing with on our storm sewer run right off of First on Salem. I wish I had more to report on that. I feel like CenturyLink has kind of ghosted me at this point because I have now called them 3 times in the past 2 days and still haven't had a call back to get an update from them. Last update I had is they were working with a subcontractor to get a contract with a subcontractor, I should say, to get them in here to get the work done that is needed, but we did not have a timeline last time I talked to them, and that was Monday. So that was just a few days ago. But again, don't have an update on that. I can tell you then, just kind of because of that, our crew has now decided to kind of change their path a little bit. And I wouldn't even say that because I think for the most part, we're still on schedule of kind of what we wanted to do next. It's just that we're missing a week of storm sewer run here on Salem, and that's fine. As of right now, that doesn't create too much of a concern on timeline. But we need to evaluate once we do get a timeline from CenturyLink and kind of see what that does. But we'll report back when we have more information. I wish we had more information. We've been trying our darndest to get more information on that. But working with a third-party utility sometimes is never easy. So with that, we did have the water main that was put in Salem, pressure and bacteria tested. I think it was last Friday that took place. All of that did pass. So they are starting to dig for water service connections this morning. I know anybody who is affected by that has been let know by Reese on where that will be. So I think that's going to be kind of the rest of this week project that's going to be taking place on that. So I'm going to see Reese is joining the room here really quick. So if he's got anything to add, I'll let him add on that. We are also going to be starting to remove the concrete in Howard today as well. That was something that was always kind of scheduled for this process. What is going to happen here, though, is, again, depending on how long it takes us to get this fiber issue figured out with CenturyLink, they might move to be doing a little bit more intensive work on Howard through that process, just so we can keep on schedule as much as we can. So that's going to be taking place today. If you've been part of any of the street removals that have taken place in the past, you'll know that it is pretty annoying when they remove the street because we're dealing with an 8 to 9 inch thick street that you can't just simply pull out. You've got to find a way to break that up. to make removals a little bit easier. So what they use is kind of it's like a pivot driver, for lack of a better term. I don't know what it exactly is called, but it'll kind of hit it, in moments just to break that thing up. So that's what you'll be experiencing here over the next few days on that. And again, I know Reese and the contractor have reached out to all the businesses to give them a heads up on that. We mentioned the water services that'll take place today and kind of where some of those disruptions will be. The other thing to note, I guess, is that the street lights on Howard last night was the last night that those will be on. Those will be de-electrified or de-energized today, I should say, wrong word, but they'll be de-energized today. And then in the next few days, those will be taken down, since the ones on Howard are the ones that we will reuse because we're trying to keep that same theme of streetlights. Those will be taken to IMU's yard, laid down for the duration of the rest of this project, and then be reinstalled, hopefully in the next 2 to 3 months. Just looking at our notes here. Yeah, there's a little bit of remaining work that still needs to be done on the light poles in phase 1, just plumbing those up in a few areas and working. I think we had mentioned last week that the light sensors that were on those were wrong. So they've been on 24/7 because of that. We are working to get that taken care of. I think actually it might have been taken care of yesterday, and Reese jump in to correct me, but I know Van Manen was planning on taking care of that issue here, at least in the next couple days.
Yep, that's what's going on. And just looking out there, they're off right now. So I would assume that they'll
Perfect.
turn on when it gets dark out.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate the saving of energy. So then next week, again, and this is really going to be dependent on where we're at with CenturyLink, but Howard underground utilities will be installed. Really in Howard, we're not talking any water main work that needs to be done. It's just storm sewer work. So they'll be making a run of storm sewer from the intersection of Howard and Salem, pretty much to the intersection of Howard and Ashland. It does fall just a tad short of there, but that's what they'll be doing next week. Again, if we can get CenturyLink down here fast and quick, so hopefully sometime this week even, they can put that storm sewer in Salem as well, which is something that we're looking for. We're working on the punch list for phase 1, and punch list is essentially when we walk through with the contractor at the end of the project. There's always just little cleanup items or small things that need to be done to kind of finish that off before the city fully accepts it. When we did that last year, we were really close to the winter months, so they couldn't do a lot of the items that needed to be done. So we knew that they would get to it once it warms up a little bit here. And that's what they'll be working on next week as well. And again, I know we mentioned that the structure located at 207 East Salem, which is just right across the street from City Hall here, the fire department is going to be doing some fire training on that building next Monday. That's going to require a street closure for that block of Salem there between Jefferson and First. We do have Salem obviously closed at First over to Howard right now. So adding this closure isn't really going to create too much, but for anybody who's coming in off Jefferson, that will be an issue. And again, if you do see smoke coming from that building, don't be alarmed. It is completely supposed to be happening and planned. So by the end of April into early May, we're still looking at sidewalk replacements on Salem, getting that in as well. This is, again, it's really going to be dependent on the CenturyLink issue that we're dealing with, and hopefully we get through that. And then we're also starting to talk about plantings in phase 1. So our Parks Department is getting ready with hanging baskets that they will be putting on the streetlights, and we are going to do that in phase 1 this year. And then the contractor is going to be working with our Parks Department as well on the permanent plantings that go in, the planter beds, and then trees as part of phase 1 will also be going in. We're just kind of waiting to get to that point where we're past frozen temperatures overnight before we get that stuff installed. So Brenda and Reese, I think that's a kind of a good summary of where we're at right now. I would stress to everybody, if you know anybody at CenturyLink that you can get a hold of, let me know, maybe their contact information. We're trying to kind of take an army approach to get a hold of them and let them know the importance of this, and that this isn't just a simple project, that there is disruption to a lot of business owners with this project, and just trying to get the priority of this project put high on their list. So we've got a few contacts that we've been trying to get a hold of on a daily basis here. And again, if anybody else knows of anybody, just let me know, and we can try to reach out to them as well. So Reese, Brenda, anything I missed?
Nope, that's everything I had on my list. I just want to mention that, I'm grateful for the construction crew to be able to pivot like that, so that we're just not sitting here doing nothing. They're actually being, proactive in moving on to the next phase, the next part of the work that needs done. So that's really, I think, going to be helpful, knock on wood, at the end of this. So
I agree with that. If you're familiar with construction crews, they've got construction crews, and they're trying to schedule different jobs across the area that they work in, across the metro. And I think Absolute, Reese, correct me if I'm wrong on this, they have probably about 3 or 4 different crews total that they're trying to put into different areas. And they brought a crew down this week that was supposed to be somewhere else, just so we can make sure that we're staying ahead on this project. So Absolute has done a really good job of knowing the importance of this project and adjusting their schedule to kind of fit the issue that we're dealing with.
Yep, that's correct.
Any questions from anybody out there?
I'll be watching chat. So if you're going to pop anything in your chat, I'll be happy to bring those up as well. Not one.
Anything at all?
I would just say I went around talking to as many as I could, businesses, telling them about the breaking concrete today. But if I wasn't able to get to you, it's just they'll be starting, looking like they're going to start pretty soon here. If there's anything on the walls of concern, we haven't had any trouble so far, but anything you think's breakable or hanging on the wall might be a good idea to take it down, or grab me or somebody on site, and we can help you.
Really, just to confirm, so that sidewalk won't be replaced there on Salem until the sewer line is complete, correct?
The storm sewer, yep, because and Reese could maybe explain this a little bit better, but that sidewalk, we've kind of got to wait for the curb installation to go in, which we've got to get the road set up before we can put the curb in. So we're waiting on that right now.
Okay.
Yep, pretty much.
I'm just gonna affect our reclaim. We're doing a different schedule over there for the traffic that we haven't had. So hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe by May, the beginning of May, that hopefully will be put back in.
Shayna, not Sheena, sorry about that. We didn't hear that last statement.
I'm just saying, hopefully by the beginning of like May, that will, I mean, if we could just keep an update of like when that possibly could happen, just
Yep.
affect our schedule of our hours that were open at Roots Reclaimed.
Got it. Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
You sounded kind of like the wah there for a second.
Yeah, well, if we get any news on that, I'll have Brenda. I know Brenda's got a good list of people that she emails out, but if there's any news that we get between now and next Wednesday on that, we'll keep everybody updated. I know it's becoming a thing and everybody's been asking about it. So any information we have to share, we'll do that right away.
Knock on wood, CenturyLink will be able to respond sooner than later. Okay, Charlie, are you guys contacting building owner or Clay when you say business owners?
Yeah, I think it's typically, so I think Clay would be the one that's getting contacted mostly on that. I think what it is we're not calling people, we're walking around, walking into businesses. So if somebody's there, we're getting a hold of them when that's going on. And Reese, I haven't been a part of that, so I don't know. With On the Rocks, I think you guys have been talking to Clay a few times,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
Good questions, you guys.
I guess if there is a building owner that isn't necessarily the business owner that I'm talking to, we can certainly add you to the list of
Yeah,
people.
and yeah, that's a good point, Reese, too. And Rick, if there's somebody else on behalf of On the Rocks that you want us to contact, just let us know. We can, if you want it to be you, if we can just get a phone number or something like that, we can easily adjust that and just make sure that we're getting a hold of the right person.
And we can also, if you have an email, they can also be added to this distribution. So they're getting real time. When you guys get the reports, they can get it too. So I've added several building owners since this whole started, but some of our building owners aren't in Indianola and they've been harder to track down.
Really, in case you couldn't hear Sheena very well where that was coming from, is we're going to be adjusting the hours at Roots Reclaimed. People are just for some reason having a tough time getting to Roots Reclaimed with how things are now. So I think the update she was talking about was just our plan, to be honest with you, is we're going to go ahead and close Thursdays and Fridays until that pedestrian walkway has kind of been put back in. So I think that's why, if you, just in case you couldn't hear, I think that's why we were asking for the update, because then once that's put back in, we'll go ahead and go back to normal hours.
Eric, are you going to be putting that on your Facebook? Because I'll be happy to share it on ours as well, so that, you know, the public well informed, you know, of your plan.
Yeah, the first post will go up today. And like I said, it'll just kind of be a construction update as far as our hours go over there. You know, hopefully it's just for the month of April.
Yeah.
But first, I guess I don't have a great explanation why that seems complicated for people over there. But I guess our thought was just simply just to make it easier on ourselves, staff, all of that kind of stuff. That's what we've decided to do just for the month of April, hoping that, you know, then the beginning of May, we can kind of get back on track. But it just seemed like, you know, a logical move at this point. So yeah, the first post I think will go up at least on the Roots page for today, just updating everybody of those hours for April.
Perfect. Thank you.
I promise you we're doing what we can to get CenturyLink down here. I think yesterday, I probably everybody can sense my frustration with it, but it's nobody that is a part of this project's fault at this point. We are all doing what we can to get them down here. It's just simply trying to get a third-party company to understand the importance, and that's been difficult. So
yeah, for sure. Like I said, it was just kind of a strategic move on our part, to be honest with you, just to make things a little bit easier on us for April, really.
But yeah, I get that completely. I understand it. We'll make sure that we are keeping everybody apprised of what's going on with this.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if any of you use CenturyLink for internet or whatever. I mean, you're certainly customers of them. Not a bad idea to call in and let them know that this is important to you. We're just trying to get as much pressure on CenturyLink as we can, because, you know, we're not in bad shape now, as Charlie mentioned, but, you know, we just want to make sure we don't get into that position. So something to think about. Call in, you know, if you're happen to be a customer. I think even if you're not a customer, I think it's a valid call, but I think especially if you're a customer.
Yeah. And Kathy, right now, I don't think I would post on social media about it. Let's see. Once we get a schedule from them, because if it's something they're still planning on taking care of this week, I don't really want to poke that bear necessarily. But yeah, we'll let everybody know. Let's wait till we hear from them, and we can kind of maybe figure out from there. And I just want to make sure everybody knows, because I think as this starts getting out, sometimes it's, well, how did you not know that fiber line was there? And I said this last week, and I just want to make sure it's clear. We knew that the fiber line was there. Unfortunately, when you locate utilities, you can't get a depth on them. So, you know, they're under this ground somewhere. We just didn't know exactly how far down they were. Unfortunately, it happens to be in the exact place that we didn't need it to be for our storm sewer run. Storm sewer obviously needs gravity for water to flow. So it's pretty important where we have that location. What I can also tell you is that before this project even started last year, we had sent the plans off to CenturyLink to have them review and comment on them. It's pretty common that these franchise utilities don't give us any comments on plans on any project that we've ever done. So they did have a chance to review it and kind of say, hey, this could be a conflict. They did not provide us with anything, so we did not know that. The other thing I will say is where this fiber line is located, we're somewhat confident that we're also going to run into the same issue on Ashland and First when we get down to where that old family video building is. So we're now starting to kind of talk through that and make sure that we're ready for that one. So when we get to that block, we're not running into the same issue. So just want to make sure everybody's clear on that. You know, we knew the line was there. We were hoping that it was deeper and figured it was deeper since we didn't get any comments from CenturyLink, but in the end, that's where it is. All right. Anything else? Questions, comments, concerns, any general commentary? Anybody want to talk about their plans for the week or this weekend?
Those don't happen until the weekend happens.
Hey, Charlie, in the meantime, I can also try to get maybe something on that fence lane that's visible from that parking lot. So anybody trying to navigate the north side of that of Salem there, as far as walkway, I mean, maybe even just a little bit of extra signage that I put up might help people navigate once they pull into that parking lot, kind of how that works, if that helps.
And I want to stress that again to everybody. The fence is really yours. Do whatever you want with it. If you want to put large signs on it, anything, just know, and I said this, I know a few weeks ago, if you do put anything on it, just make sure that it is not of an expensive item, essentially, because that fence can get blown over when it gets windy. The construction crews are going to move it. They could bump it with equipment. So, you know, I know a few weeks ago, somebody asked about lights. Could they put that on there? And if you can do it battery operated, because obviously we don't want extension cords across the sidewalk, but feel free to do it. Just please do not spend a lot of money on whatever you do, because we cannot promise that it's going to stay in a pristine condition. But again, do whatever you want with the fence. I know a few businesses have taken advantage of that. And it's just whatever helps you guys and whatever helps the businesses, just please take advantage of it.
Doesn't hurt to put extra signage up, though. I just firm believer of helping people realize what to do is always a good thing.
Skip the lights, but I promise I'll get a banner up.
Anything else, you guys?
All right. I don't think I have anything else to add. Looking kind of at future things too. Well, I guess on April 20th, the Mayor's Youth Council is going to be doing a tour of this project in the morning. So 2 weeks from this morning. With that, I think we're still fine on our normal 8:30 on April 20th. Because I know they're starting at 7 a.m. So hopefully we're done by 8:30, but I will make sure that I'm at least back by 8:30 regardless on that. So I think that schedule wise, we're good on everything else then. So I do appreciate everybody coming, and as always, if there's anything that comes up in the next week that you need an answer to, please email, call, stop by to any of us. As usual, if there's a construction crew out there and you want to ask them, feel free to do that as well.
Yep.
All right, thanks everybody.
Have a great day.
Thanks.